Good evening, Fight Owls, and welcome to another breakdown of the Underdogs as we preview UFC 273. Once again, we have another stacked card. We have been so spoiled this year. Looking into a double championship fight, which seems to be the norm in the past couple of years. As always, we begin from the top of the card, working our way down. And just to make it easier for everyone watching globally, I've converted the betting odds into percentages, so hopefully everyone can understand all around the world. Now I've only got 2 picks for you for live underdogs on this card, and the main event is definitely not one of them. Alexander the Great Volkanovsky versus the Korean Zombie. Now Volkanovsky is an 83.3% favourite to win, and if I was in charge of the betting lines, I would put it even higher than that. Of course, this is MMA, we know anything can happen. But considering this Korean Zombie is stepping in as a replacement, and I know we shouldn't play MMA map, but looking at the way Brian Ortega handled the Zombie and the way Alexander handled Ortega, this is going to be a bad night for Korean Zombie. So we're just going to move on forward onto the co-main event, which is Algerian Sterling versus Peter Yan. Again, this is not one of my picks for live dogs. We all saw what happened the first time. Now, of course, how long is it now? 2 years has passed? It feels like 2 years. Granted, what we saw the first time, I don't see a way that Aljamain can change it. Yan was better in every single element of that fight. Even with the takedowns, we all came in there thinking, okay, Aljo is going to have the advantage in the grappling department. But it was Yan who ended up taking Aljo down with those very nice trips he did. And without Aljo getting it to the floor and working his jiu-jitsu, which I don't see happening. Yan is just too good to let that happen. I don't see any other pathways for Aljo to win. So we're going further down into the Coco, the people's main event, Hamza Chimayo versus Gilbert Burns. Now I am so excited for this fight. Incredibly excited, even more so than the 2 title fights on this card. So this is where we come with our first live dog in Gilbert Burns. I'm actually surprised he's as much of an underdog as he is, coming in as a 28.6 favourite to win on the betting cards. How much is Hamza? He's 77.8% to win. Now I am shocked by this. I know everyone is hyped on Hamza, I get it. He's been finishing people dominantly, he's exciting, he captures people's imagination. I totally get it. It's quite reminiscent of Conor McGregor up in his rise, where it just seemed like he was invincible until he wasn't. Now Hamza does seem to have it all. I mean, he got a great knockout in the last fight before, and of course he's got that Dagestani wrestling, even though I don't think he's from Dagestan. Someone let me know in the comments where he's actually from. Although he's got that Dagestani beard going on and the grappling too, which is just unmatched so far. However, I hate to be this person, however, he's yet to face any real challenges, and Gilbert Burns most certainly is a real challenge. More than a real challenge. I mean, it's a huge step up from his last fight. And if Hamza, that's a big if Hamza does manage to get through Gilbert Burns, he does certainly deserve all the hype around him, 100%. Burns is currently ranked number 2 after Colby, and that's not for nothing. Gilbert is as well-rounded as they come. He's no longer just a jiu-jitsu guy like he used to be. It's really quite impressive how the coaches at Sanford MMA have transformed him from a world-class grappler into an elite MMA fighter. In a lot of ways, Gilbert Burns is very similar to the 155 champion Charles Oliveira. They're both savages on the mat who have wild, controlled technique with their striking. The only thing I can see Chimayo having an advantage over Burns is in the wrestling department. But with such an established grappler like Burns, does he really want to play the ground game with him and risk getting subbed? In fact, how this fight plays out will give us a very good indicator to how Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev goes down if we ever get to see that matchup. Very similar styles. I do feel this will begin mostly on the feet As Hamza's striking and power is a force to be reckoned with, especially how immensely confident he is coming into this. I mean, Hamza is just so damn confident right now. He is on cloud 9. I mean, he's getting all this hype, and especially with the training, it seems to be fueling him to be better and to believe that hype in himself. So that is a very, very dangerous mindset to come into. But again, this guy is a 77.8 favourite against a number 2 ranked welterweight contender who not long ago just fought for the title. I mean, that is crazy. That is so crazy. That just shows you how hard Hamza has just completely blown through the scene. Even harder than the Russians in Ukraine. Now next up we have Atisha Torres versus Mackenzie Dern. Atisha is a 60% favourite to win against Dern, who is a 45.5 underdog. Now again, I'm surprised by this, not because I think it's any kind of outrage that Dern is an underdog, but because previously she's always been overrated. So I guess now people are starting to fade off the hype that she came with, and especially after her last performance, which I think is mainly due to Marina Rodriguez being just that good. I didn't see that as Dern being bad, just Rodriguez is really, really good, and I do think she is going to hold a title one day. But to have Tisha as an underdog against someone like Tisha Torres, now Tisha has done it all at strawweight. I mean, she's been around nearly as long as division's been alive. Again, someone please correct me with that. But she's fought everyone. She's fought Joanna, she's fought everyone in that division. Yes, she's had some ups and downs, but she is one of those fighters who's just a well-rounded fighter. Like, she's good at everything. However, she doesn't have that specific thing that she's great at or phenomenal at, just like Dern has with her jiu-jitsu. And something I've noticed actually since Dern came back after giving birth, her physique has been phenomenal. I mean, she looks way better than she did before she had a baby, which is crazy to think about. Her speed has massively improved, and also her striking skills. Now, that's not just due to her physique, but also she's now partnered up with Jason Perillo, one of the greatest boxing coaches we know out there. And it's been showing in her last few fights. She's more measured on her feet. It's no longer just panic striking to get into the clinch so she can get a takedown. She's now more comfortable on the feet as well. However, one major flaw that she does need to work on is her wrestling game. Because what good is all that jiu-jitsu if you can't get someone to the mat? But this is why I think she has an advantage over Tisha. Like I said, Tisha is good at everything, but she's not great at specific things. Such as takedown defense. It's good, but is it good enough to stop a woman in Dern who you know wants to get you on the ground? And to mention age difference as well, it's not massively different. However, Dern is still very young and still developing, whereas Tisha, she's been around the game. She's not washed, far from it. She still has quite a few years left in her, but I believe we have seen her ceiling, at least close to her ceiling now. Whereas Dern, this is someone who's still very much progressing. We have no idea what her ceiling is going to be like. We have no idea what she's going to look like in a few years' time. Whereas Tisha, you can more or less guess where she's going to end up in a few years' time. So that is why I would have Mackenzie Dern as a very live dog. And that covers the fights I wanted to discuss on this card. If you want me to do longer reviews where I look at each and every fight on the card, I'll be more than happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. As of yet, still growing this channel. It's a brand new channel. Please give us a like, subscribe, share if you want to. So I'm only at the moment still focusing on the main fights I want to talk about, but again, as this channel grows, if you guys want me to discuss more, I'm more than happy to go into further detail. And I will be doing a post-fight breakdown of the card. Hopefully it's a good one. It looks to be a really good one. And to be honest, I still haven't calmed down from UFC London. That was insane. This has a lot of expectation after that, especially considering that was just a fight night. That wasn't even a pay-per-view in London. Good gosh. So enjoy the fight, guys.